Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrac and Kelly Kole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. This is episode 115, where we are answering your design questions. So it's that time again, and some of you went to our website and recorded your question on this SpeakPipe feature that we have. That is at the top right side of our website that says talk to us, and you can just leave your questions. Others sent emails, and then others sent questions via Instagram. So this episode is where we answer design dilemmas such as paint colors for a bedroom, how to handle tricky spaces, how many pillars are too many, etc. Sometimes we get some random questions like, what is your favorite movie or your favorite place to travel? So you get the idea. So here we go.
So our first call that we got was from Chuck from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Hey, Joanne. Hey, Kelly. I have a question. I knocked down 3 walls in my house trying to open the living room, dining room, kitchen to a more open floor plan. My dilemma is that the front of my house where the bay windows are going into the living room is facing west, which means we get direct sunlight in the afternoon through our living room. This causes a very bad glare on the TV, as well as increases the temperature in my living room. How do I incorporate blinds and some light filtering blinds together, along with some nice valances at the top?
I'm impressed that Chuck even knows what a valance is.
Chuck's just kind of the happy homeowner.
And I love when guys call in.
I know.
It makes me feel good.
I know, because they really, have dilemmas.
Yeah.
And this is a good one.
It's legit, yeah.
Because we have a lot of people who have this issue where, from a temperature standpoint, it really can make a room really, really warm or really cold in the winter. And then nothing worse than the glare on the TV. So I think cellular shades would be what I would suggest. They are light filtering, like you asked, Chuck, and they will stop the glare, but they won't make the room really, really dark. And we have mixed cellulars with regular 2-inch blinds. I think those are ones that kind of you can use them in the same room. Would you agree, Cal?
Yeah, I think people really, we always say you don't know what you don't know. And I think that people just think, oh, there's 2-inch wood blinds, or there's mini blinds, or I don't think the general public is really versed in all that there is to offer in blinds and shades and screens. We are Hunter Douglas dealers, so we do this a lot for our clients, and we use everything from designer screens and solar shades like you see in restaurants to cellular shades that go up, to nothing and then come down. A lot of motorization. So only doing it when the sun is glaring and having them up a lot of the time. So I would really, if you have this problem, I would really take the time to call a designer who's a dealer or find a shade store and really get educated in this. The other thing that I was going to suggest is a lot of people do this. I particularly don't love it, but a lot of people will tint their windows. And I just don't like the kind of the dark glare from the outside, but it is effective. Yeah. And the other thing that I was going to suggest in certain areas is really pay attention to your landscaping, because there might be instances where you could do a tall cypress tree or
might take a while
kind of thing, right? But just think about that.
I think the shades are pretty.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think really pretty, and I love them layered.
And they add the softness, and so adding valance is great. It's a great layered look. So I
especially love them layered.
Yeah,
we probably do more panels than we do top treatments, but they're made now that you can hide a shade behind any kind of window treatment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good question, Chuck.
Okay. So next, we have a question from Stephanie from Boston. Her question is, when wanting to update a room without purchasing all new furniture, rugs, decor, what things do you recommend for a mini makeover for an existing room? Well, we know the no-brainer is the paint.
No-brainer.
No-brainer. Painting a room will give you an instant, kind of
refresh.
Refresh.
Lighting would be my second.
Yes.
It's such an inexpensive thing to do.
Yeah. As far as furniture, if you don't want to do that, pillows. Changing out your pillows, changing out a lamp or two can really give you a whole, as long as the bones of it are really pretty good. I think those are
probably the top
Probably the
things.
top.
And I would say maybe it's just that you need a little punch of wow. And that could be reupholstering a singular piece, maybe bringing in some new fabrics, or doing window treatments if you don't have them. I think a lot of people don't have window treatments on their windows, and that always just instantly warms a room. But
it makes it feel really finished.
for sure. And also throw rugs. There's so much fun, and Overstock, Etsy, so many ways to throw down some color, and for less than $200. So
Yeah, there you go. There's your mini makeover, Jane.
There you go.
Or Stephanie. Okay, so now we have a call. Who called in? Jane from Canton, Georgia.
Hello. I have a question about remodeling our kitchen. I can't afford to go high end for absolutely everything. Can you help me with the best places that I can find to save some money, and the items that I would be very sad if I didn't go big on? Thank you so much.
Great question. So many people are renovating their kitchens.
Oh, my
And you
gosh.
can spend upwards of $200,000, and that's not even
easy.
That's if you're talking super high end appliances.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends. Number one, when you say you can't go high end everything, are you major cooks where the appliances make a really big difference? Because that's where your money's going to be. But let's
Absolutely.
just say you're okay with mid range appliances. I think lighting is really good.
lighting would be my investment.
Yes.
I would never go cheap on my lighting, especially if I had a big island and I wanted some super cool pendants.
Now, there's all levels of cabinetry,
Yes.
and some can be really, really high end. I think as long as they everything does anymore, as long as they soft close, and they're, if you're going to have them painted or stained, if you're going to be stained, they're probably going to be a little bit more because you're going to, use a harder wood. So cabinets, I think you can do in a mid range and be good.
I think that's definitely an area to just have a discussion about the investment amount, how high you're going to go. We find with our kitchen remodelers that they like to use certain brands that allow them to really specify down to the 1/8 of an inch. But there's others that are kind of more out of the box cabinets. But one thing that really does add a lot of money to our kitchen remodels is how high you go with the cabinets. A lot of people just want to hit the ceiling. You don't always have to hit the ceiling, to make it look great. So I would have that conversation. If you're okay with not having massive customization, hidden pantries and every single utensil and small appliance in a special cabinet, then you can save a lot of money on your cabinetry. That's the big. I would say cabinetry and appliances are the two huge ticket items, would you say?
Yeah. And the appliances with the, what do you call them?
Integrated.
Integrated, where you put the cabinet face on
I
the
read
front
your
of
mind.
it.
Did you
I know.
test-
Well, you always do.
You were just looking at me with a plain
This is why
face.
we are who we are, because we can read each other's minds. But yeah, that really ups the price.
Yeah, it
but,
does.
It's the look. It's that whole integrated look where it doesn't,
You don't see appliances.
You don't see
They're all
appliances.
paneled.
But that is, one way you can save, that you won't be like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Right. And I think in terms of countertops, there's such a range now, and the price has really come down. Remember when granite was so high, and now granite's like your economical choice, and quartz is a little higher, and then you've got marble. So just kind of see what's out there and make your decisions accordingly there.
Yeah.
There's
A faucet, I think, is a good thing to invest in. It's something you use hundreds of times a day. So I would invest in a good faucet.
Yep.
So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane. All right, who do we have next? Oh, we have so many questions. Look at this list. Oh, God. Okay, Tracy from Marathon, New York sent us a note on Insta, and she says, what is a great front door color for a gray-sided home? I love these questions.
Well, luckily, Tracy, gray is a great, backdrop for a lot of different colors.
Yes.
So I did a little bit of research for you, and I'm going to give you my 3 favorites, and I'll give you the numbers. So the first one, unfortunately, I wasn't able to use because I did the wrong thing. I painted it before getting my homeowners approval, which
Dang it.
I had a feeling they weren't going to, but
They
I
had
thought
no vision.
I would take my chances.
Yeah.
And I painted my house as black and white, and I painted it Sherwin-Williams Bella Pink, which is 6596. So hopefully, Tracy, you don't live in a homeowners association, which they might not let you do that, but it's such a beautiful soft pink and so pretty. My second choice, I think, with gray would be yellow. Kelly's
was
got
that was my first choice.
Beautiful
Yeah.
yellow front door at her lake house. But the one I really like is called Celeria, and it's Sherwin-Williams 6668. And then my third choice would be a coral.
Yes,
There's a color
I
called
agree.
Coral Reef SW6606.
Yes.
So
I agree
check
with
those out.
all of your recommendations.
Do you have any others? What else would you do?
Well, my first thing was yellow, and what I ended up doing at the lake house, actually, it's a Pella door,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the exact color,
But it was already. It
it came that way, and it's just a perfect. It's not school bus yellow. It's like just a deep sunshine yellow. It's wonderful.
It's a happy color.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a call in from Tracy from Smyrna, Georgia.
My first question would be how you create distinct rooms with a very large open floor plan, similar to mine. And two, when you're working with a large living room space, how do you typically style that? You know, is it multiple sofas? Is it multiple sofas with chairs? Just out of curiosity, how you would do that with very large spaces.
Did she have two questions or just one?
Yeah,
she's
she
coming
emailed-
up again.
she emailed a question.
She emailed us. Okay.
Yeah.
She kept thinking of good
Yeah,
questions.
she thought more afterwards. Yeah.
I think this is a question that a lot of people have. We have so many open spaces now, some cool urban lofts that we've worked on, and how to delineate spaces is a challenge for sure.
Yeah, I like the idea of, kind of like conversation areas, because you don't want to have, be screaming across the room. So it really depends on the layout of it. But there's ways to almost kind of separate them too, whether you do like a tall bookcase that's open, you kind of see that in loft areas or whatever. And just, you could do two sofas facing each other. In another area, you could do 4 chairs around a coffee table.
It really depends on how big the room is. I was recently reading, I don't know, it was Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, or I can't remember, but it was this massive family room with a fireplace at each end. Oh, wow. And they had sofas back to back facing each fireplace.
Kind of like a hotel lobby.
Like
almost.
A hotel lobby would be.
Yeah,
it was perfect. So I always, we have a couple different space plans that we use pretty regularly. The first one is, let's just say you have a regular size big family room and you have a fireplace that you're dealing with. You have 2 sofas facing each other. And if the room is wide enough, you have 2 chairs as well that are at the front of your area facing the fireplace. And then if you have more room at the fireplace, you can do like 2 ottomans. So it's kind of a circle of 2 sofas, 2 chairs, 2 ottomans. And so it's very conversational.
Yeah. And a lot of times we'll ask people, do you like to lay down watching TV? Because that's the case where you'd have the 2 sofas, so you're laying down watching the TV. If someone likes to sit up and face the TV, then we'll do the sofa facing the TV and then chairs on either side.
Right.
That swivel.
Right. And sometimes, depending on how long the room is, we will have 2 sets of chairs, 2 pairs facing each other. With the fireplace, at the front of the area. And if there's not enough room, we'll just do a single chair that swivels.
Yeah.
The key is the swivel.
Or like an upholstered bench that can be used to kind of separate areas, which is kind of nice. Not that it's going to be where you're going to sit and watch TV because you don't have a back, but that's more for entertaining.
What we also do, and we do a lot of leasing centers, and they're really, really wide open and big. And we did this in a recent loft space where we had 2 rugs. Sometimes they're the same size. Sometimes one's a little bit bigger than the other, but they're either exactly the same rug or they're just good partners, and they kind of separate and delineate the spaces.
Yeah.
So I think, just visually, just think about, it could be a big tree. It could be, like you said, a
Open
bookcase or a folding panel or something that just separates the space. And also just think about little chairs and little ottomans. They can be just inserted anywhere to kind of just make the big space feel more cozy.
I think the 2 rugs is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so
Good question.
her next question was, I noticed that many new design homes have more art rather than mirrors over furniture. Are mirrors over buffets or side tables going out of style?
This is probably my favorite question of the day.
Well, you know what immediately comes to mind, because it seems like the last few homes that we've been in, they don't seem to have as much wall space as they used to.
Correct.
I feel like
lots of windows.
Lots of windows. So if you're going to have space for something, I think I choose art over a mirror.
Always.
I think mirrors are used sometimes when they
Don't know what to do.
don't know what else to do, or in a foyer maybe, so you can look at when you're. But yeah, there's always been that mirror over a buffet. But
Yep.
no, I think art.
Always. I'll always choose art. But I will say, Tracy, a couple of things. There's sometimes, like we're dealing with this right now. We just were at a big house in Buckhead, and this living room has 3 solid walls. Okay, we don't want to do art on all walls. The challenge that we have is across the way in the dining area, we had already put this massive kind of Theodore Alexander tree branch massive mirror. So we don't want another one. So we're thinking of, there's all kinds of, just think like wall decor. There's a woman that we love that does these beautiful ceramic kind of galleries where we kind of float these ceramic plates up the wall. So we got to think about that. But I will say that I do still love mirrors. They're not out, to answer your question, but I would give you 2 bits of advice. One is make them interesting. Don't just go.
Don't do a rectangular.
Don't just go and get this plain old rectangular mirror from, some big box store. Make sure it's really interesting, make it big, and make sure above all that it's reflecting something beautiful. It's reflecting off a window. It's reflecting a piece of art. It's,
How many times?
If it's reflecting your staircase, forget it.
How many times do we see like a 2-story family room, the high mantle, the mirror above the mantle, reflecting the ceiling fan? It's bad. It's just bad.
I do. I hate
And
that.
I don't think people realize.
They don't because they're like, what am I going to put up there? I don't want to spend a lot of money and I need something big.
Yeah.
Well, just wait and do a big piece of art.
Yeah, that was a great question.
Yeah, love it. All right, the next one was, I can't remember if this was Instagram or she emailed it, but it's from Rachel from Jacksonville, Florida. What are your favorite interior design industry events to attend? Oh, the list is long.
Yeah. Hands down, the first one is the Design Influencers Conference, which is put on by Esteem Media. It started out being called the Design Bloggers Conference, and it has kind of evolved into, there's still many people who are blogging. It's a big interior design group of people, influencers, vendors, just some great people. It's so good because they have the best speakers. We always learn so much, and so many in our industry are there. So yeah, it's my
It's the
all-time
number
favorite.
one networking event.
So this next year, it's in February here in Atlanta.
Sign up now. That is our number one. Of course, High Point.
High
We
Point
talk
is-
about it all the time. You're probably sick of hearing us talk about High Point. We just signed up for KBIS, KBIS, which is the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show that's in Orlando, Florida in February of next year. If you do kitchen and bath remodels, you have to go to that event.
We have learned so much. It's one of those, you don't know what you don't know. If you just walk around, the big box stores, you have no idea what's out there that you're missing.
And we try, if we have the time and if we can afford it, to do just inspirational cultural events that kind of get our juices going and get our creative minds swirling. And so we're going to San Miguel in Mexico in November because we've been wanting to go there for a long time. We're going with 2 designer friends that we met at a design conference. We met at the David Shepard's Business of Design conference years ago in Palm Springs, I think. We stayed in touch. And so we're all going to just kind of get some energy.
The other thing that you can do locally, although I guess we're very lucky here in Atlanta, show houses.
Oh.
We go to the Serenbe Show House is coming up soon. We learn a lot from going to show houses and get inspired and find vendors that we didn't know about, or just see placement of furniture like we talked about. Just some cool new
Trends.
new ways. And
The way that what the top designers are doing. Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles puts on several in Atlanta. And if you if you can't get to Atlanta, at least subscribe to that magazine because they show every space in the magazine after the show's over.
It is a great magazine.
Yep.
Okay, next we have a live call. Sarah from Lexington, Kentucky.
Hi, Kelly and Joanne. So I've been noticing that gray seems to be maybe going out of style or making an exit from our neutral color schemes. I would love to know what you think are the neutral colors for right now and going into 2022.
Great question. Everybody's got that on their minds.
It's so true. And we talk about it a lot when I feel like we talk about it with almost every single client because we have one who just bought a home and the entire home is gray, pretty much the inside. And so she's not ready to paint it right this second, but when she does go to paint it, she's wondering if she should just change. And we urged her to, yes, go a little warmer. That's where it's going. There's still a lot of gray out there. But like Sarah said, it's kind of waning. You don't see it as much.
We had Sue Wadden, the color marketing director, on our show last year. She's been on 3 times and she's about to be on again. And it's a show that you don't want to miss where she talks about the new colors for Sherwin-Williams for the upcoming year. But she told us that last year that her favorite color was Sherwin-Williams Shiitake, which was kind of a taupey tan. It has a tiny,
brownish.
It has I want to say it still has a tiny bit of gray in it. So it's a good transition and
that
very,
grayish.
very popular. I wouldn't say, my whole house is repost gray. I like it because I have a lot of original art and I have a lot of pink in my house. And it's a great combo with that where the grayish would not be. So if the next time I go to refresh my house, I'll probably go white. And I would look at the new Sherwin-Williams emerald colors because they have a lot of great whites. But I wouldn't panic if you have gray in your house. I have dark gray cabinets in my kitchen and I absolutely love them. I can't imagine hating them anytime soon.
Yeah,
so don't panic.
I wouldn't say go and change them real quick, but if you're thinking about painting in the next year or two, you might want to look at some of the other colors. So I have 3 for you, Sarah, that you can take a look at. Accessible beige is Sherwin 7036. Agreeable gray, that's a really good grayish.
Yep.
Sherwin 7029. Modern gray, but is spelled MODERNE. 7032. Oh, I have one more. Natural linen.
Oh, I love that.
9109. And natural linen is probably, a little bit more, would go with a lot more.
Yeah, that's a really good question. All right. So then we had another one reach out. Megan from Raleigh, North Carolina emailed us. She had a couple questions. The first one was, other than white, what are some exterior paint colors you are liking right now?
I have to say, I'm really liking some of the dark ones. It doesn't work for everybody, but some of these dark navy blues and these dark grays up against white trim really, really looks pretty. I mean,
Yes.
if you're not looking to do white and you're looking to just do, a neutral, that's one thing. But if you've got maybe an area that doesn't get the sun beating on it, because it would probably fade. Although if you're using Sherwin-Williams duration paint, using good paint, it shouldn't do that. But I love some of the darker.
I just chose paint colors for my friend Lisa, who has a lake house near mine, and she wanted it to be kind of Nantucket-y. And so I chose Sherwin-Williams Gray Harbor, which is it's a very...
I love the name of it.
I know, right? It's a very deep gray with a tiny, it has a blue undertone to it, but it's very faint. It just kind of warms it up a little bit. And for the trim, I chose Heron Plume, Sherwin-Williams Heron Plume, just because I didn't want it to be... There's another house in the area that kind of has this combo and it's so beautiful. We didn't want to stomp on her parade, but I also didn't want it to scream white on the lake. So Heron Plume has a tiny bit of gray in it.
Love that color.
So pretty combination there. But we just picked yesterday for this huge house. It was white brick already, but we did a little something different, and the shutters are going to be
Anchors away. So a navy really
blue.
deep
Yes.
navy.
Really excited about that.
But there's another navy that I really like, and we've done this for a commercial property, Cyberspace.
Oh, yes.
And that's 7076. And
it has a lot of gray in it.
Yep. And then for our true dark gray, porpoise.
Oh, I love porpoise. Yep.
7047. And then if you want to go more in the neutrally more browns, warm stone.
Yes.
7032.
That's a lovely color. Yep.
Okay, then for mid-range, so we're not super dark, elephant ear.
Yes. We use that a lot.
9168, moth wing.
Yes.
9174, and urban putty 7532.
Those are all
Love
great
those
colors.
Those are all some of our
The
favorites.
other the other woman I was going back and forth with the other day, we picked her colors a while ago. They did shiitake all on the sides, and then they did felted wool on their shutters. So just another combo for you. Yeah, and then we did do pure white on the trim because we just needed a little bit of clean pop thrown in. So there you go, Megan. I know you had another question. What type of smart home features are your clients interested in? Oh, that's such a good question.
I think the smart appliances are what people really like. Being able to preheat your oven when you're not home, being able to, I mean, if you're really getting crazy, see what's in your refrigerator from your iPhone, things like that. But I wouldn't say that we get a whole lot of people that come to us and say, I want a smart kitchen.
Yeah, maybe that's our part of the country. I'm not sure. We do a lot of motorization for blinds. So with Hunter Douglas, we use the Power View features, and that's all operated from phone, iPad, and remote. So we do a ton of that. I would say kitchens and obviously, I mean, everything on the TVs is smart. Obviously, those are probably the ones we get the most of.
Yep.
So our last one is Jessica from Austin. How do you decide where to stop and start different colored paint trims in rooms throughout a home? I'm seeing this a lot more and I love it, but it can start to look crazy if you don't do it right.
I'm going to have to be 100% honest and say I have not really seen this. Here, I haven't really seen it. So I don't know if it's where she is or if people are trying to carve out different rooms to make them look different. I guess if someone said to me, I want to use this different trim in this room, as long as it didn't butt right up against it where you're going to really see the difference. I can see if you have really light trim everywhere, but then maybe in a family room you want to do all dark around the windows and the doors or whatever. But have you seen much of this?
No, not really. I mean, I think painted trim and colors. Remember, we went through a phase where it was always black or it was a dark color, but now you're seeing it in colors, greens and blues, and it looks really great. Even if you do the whole wall and the trim all in a color. I love that. I'm still one to carve out individual spaces. I think dining rooms, doors on the inside, so nobody on the outside knows, but on the inside you've got crazy colored doors. I think that's super fun. It's something to play around with. It's only paint. I mean, I do it. So, wow. We had so many good questions. We had to save a few for the next time because we know that you guys all love this when we do this.
So.
All right. Funny quote today. I know it's time to clean up my purse when my car assumes it's a second passenger who's not wearing their seatbelt.
That's so true about you. That's so true.
Okay, well, so I have a Louis Vuitton Never Full. That's almost full. And
it's a person.
Yeah, and I have the new Kia Telluride, and it has so many announcements to tell me at all times that it thinks I need a frickin' seatbelt. It's so annoying.
All right, well, the funny quote is so you, and the serious quote is very me. Have you ever taken a photo of the sunset only to look at it and realize it was so much more beautiful in real life?
Oh my gosh.
Remember that when you're picking up photos of yourself. It's so true.
Oh, I can't believe. Well, that's me too. I hate pictures of myself.
I do too.
And we go on these consultations and we take tons of pictures. And one of us is always, standing in a corner taking notes or walking through the photo. And then we put them all in Dropbox and we go back and we're like, oh my God, I thought I looked good that day. God, I didn't.
Well, we want to thank everybody that took the time to ask the questions. And if you're interested in sponsoring our podcast, please reach out to us at podcast@kandrac-kole.com, and we will send you lots of information that details our stats and how you can benefit from it and all that. And then lastly, if you love listening to us, please take a moment to give us a 5-star review and share our podcast with your friends.
We are loving how much attention and love we are getting from all of you guys. And it really shows when we see how many of you are reaching out for our expertise. And we're just honored to be able to help you out.
And there's still people who are still having trouble listening to podcasts. And if you know anybody who does, you can still say, hey, Siri.
Yep.
Listen to, or hey, Alexa. So you don't have to go to the podcast app. You don't have to try to find it. You have to whatever.
Yep.
So
when you're cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's a great one.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrac Kole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrac-kole.com for more information.